He was the man who never fired a gun, yet ruled the mafia like a king. Born in Italy, raised in the ghettos of Harlem, Frank Costello built an empire of vice, gambling, and drugs. But what if I told you that he double-crossed the mafia and took over the global heroin trade using a secret Asian alliance during the Vietnam War? You've never heard this story before. Frank Costello, born Francesco Castiglia in 1891, arrived in America as an immigrant. By 13, he was already running small-time rackets in East Harlem, extortion, theft, dice games in back alleys. But this wasn't just petty crime. Frank had something rare, a mind for business, and ambition far bigger than the streets. In the 1920s, Prohibition turned street thugs into millionaires. Costello found his perfect partner, Charles "Lucky" Luciano. While Luciano used muscle, Costello used charm and political influence. Together, they built the spotlight. He wanted power behind the curtain. In 1936, Luciano was sentenced to 30 years in prison. With his friend behind bars, Costello took over the Luciano family, the most powerful in New York. He transformed it into a legitimate-looking business empire. Judges were on his payroll. Senators dined at his table. They called him the Prime Minister of the Underworld. Not everyone liked Costello's clean style. In 1957, a young and violent Vito Genovese tried to take him out. Costello survived an assassination attempt. A bullet grazed his head. But instead of retaliation, Costello walked away from power. Or so everyone thought. Behind the scenes, Costello was far from retired. As America went to war in Vietnam, heroin demand soared. The Italian mob controlled much of the trade, until Costello made a secret deal with East Asian suppliers through corrupt military channels. It was genius. Costello's heroin network flooded the U.S., and his rivals in the mafia began to collapse under investigations and addiction-fueled violence. Meanwhile, Costello stayed clean. No paper trail, no direct link. The mafia bosses suspected, but had no proof. The man who once walked away had outplayed them all. Frank Costello died of a heart attack in 1973. Never arrested for a single violent crime, never convicted of trafficking. But decades later, declassified CIA documents revealed an explosive truth. Costello had used government intel contacts to build his heroin pipeline. He had leveraged war itself to rule the underworld. They called him the Prime Minister. But in reality, Frank Costello was the ultimate chess player in a world of mobsters. He didn't just survive the mafia, he outsmarted it. Like this video if you want more mind-blowing mafia stories. Subscribe before they find out we're telling the truth.